Hi, welcome to KNX Dialogue Series. Hi, I'm Bob Snyder, and I'll be your moderator. And I'm very happy to have you joining us here because this series is designed to share developments and to explore industry insights. You'll also see in-depth analysis and product launches, highlighting unique features and benefits. So let's connect, let's share, let's innovate with industry professionals in an environment built for collaborating growth and learning. This is the second in the series. The third will be in November 27, 2024. So I hope you'll join us then as well. Welcome to today's KNX Dialogue session. We're thrilled to have you with us as we're going to explore what makes KNX the premier choice for smart home and building automation. Now, joining me today is Casto Canavante, who is the marketing team leader of the KNX Association. Casto, let's start with a happy birthday. And a happy birthday because KNX is now 34 years old. And let's talk about the origin. Why was KNX created? And why is KNX designed the way that it is? Casto.
Good morning, Bob. Hi, nice being with you again in another KNX Dialogue series. So it's a great pleasure. And indeed, it is. We are celebrating the 34th anniversary of KNX this month in September. So for us, it's 34 years of celebration, 34 years of innovation, and we are very proud of it. And answering your question, actually, all started with a vision. So all started with how about we can create a system, smart homes of the future, smart buildings of the future, that they can all work together with one ecosystem where the devices from multiple vendors from different manufacturers can work together seamlessly in executing applications. So to give you an example, so when we wake up in the morning, yeah, you wake up and then you want to have the toilet at the comfort temperature. Then if you go through the corridor to the way in the kitchen to the kitchen, then you would like also to be lighted. Maybe it is very early in the morning, no full bright in the corridor, but half bright. So then you can walk through the corridor and then the light dim accordingly. So the integration of the different applications like sensors for the or detectors for the corridors, for the toilet, the temperature for the toilet, the temperature in the kitchen or in the home in general. So all can be integrated into one ecosystem. And that was the initial idea 34 years ago. And this is how KNX has been working since 34 years now. So we work to get this aim and to make it possible for the users and for the people living in homes, working in buildings, or using the buildings. That was the idea. That was our first vision, and this is how we are progressing still today.
Well, Casto, that mission, which brings you that interoperability and flexibility, certainly sounds like a very strong advantage. So, but time moves on. What really separates KNX from the other technologies available today?
There are several things that makes KNX stands out of the technology, but there is one particular feature of KNX that I remember that at the day I started, or very soon when I started, my colleague at that time was we were working our desks that were next to each other in Brunei. He mentioned one very important thing that I kept in my mind since then, and that was the interworking. So KNX with KNX and KNX devices, what we guarantee is the interworking of devices. And he explained the difference because I said, oh, that's interoperability. He said, well, it's a step beyond that. So when in a home or in a system, you have interoperable systems, so you have devices that they can interoperate or what they today we are allowed about interoperability and connectivity. So that makes actually that devices into one system, they can exist together, they will coexist, they will not have a conflict, between the devices, but it doesn't mean that there will be a full communication between these devices from different vendors. And with interworking at KNX, we go one step beyond. So we do the next step, the next level. And that is what we call the interworking. Interworking on devices, it guarantees that, it will guarantee that the different devices from different vendors, they can have full communication between each other. So if once the system integrator will commission the products using the ETS, for instance, so once he is commissioning all the products with all the communication objects, then they will have, and is guaranteed to have full communication between them. And that is what it really makes KNX to stand out from the technology. And I just mentioned ETS because with ETS is the only tool that a professional who is commissioning a KNX installation, he needs to use to configure all the devices of that ecosystem. And that is of a great advantage for a home because then you avoid, as a user or as a building owner, you don't need to be calling different professionals to make configurations of the systems or the different systems because everything is in one system with one professional, you can coordinate everything. And that is really a great advantage as well. The interworking and the ETS.
Yeah. Well, that's so very impressive, for KNX, 34 years in technology terms. I mean, what lasts 34 years in technology? So, given KNX's longevity, why do you think other systems tend to fade away while KNX continues to thrive and grow and add and move on with the technology?
Indeed, we've seen in the last year. So we have seen, for instance, the IoT came to the market, and then everybody is talking about IoT, and then you, me, myself, and everybody can see new companies coming up, these famous startups. They come up to the market and they come with new products. There are also companies that they create their own technology. So you have brands and companies that their own technology and their own product. And in the beginning, this is possible. That's okay because a company will invest their time in developing a technology. They will download that technology into their products, and they will make it work. Um, that's easy. So that's a very good thing. And these companies are very dynamic. They can come to the market very dynamically, and they can adapt to it. But there is a limit. There is a limit that they invest on updating their technology, the protocol, the specification of the communication. So there is a limit of resources that we have to be every time maintaining the systems. For that is the main reason why open systems and associations like ours, we guarantee and we have a long-term way to go still, because we invested in the past. Every year we've been investing efforts, resources, time, and making sure that the KNX specifications, standard, they are up to date. And we still do that every time to extend the specifications with the new necessary adoptions or extensions that are required. To give you an example, for instance, some years ago, so we've seen the need in the market to invest in in bringing the latest features of security to the devices. So to bring in, to make sure that devices in smart home and smart building industry, they are secure, more secure. And for that, we brought the necessary mechanisms. We extended the specifications to make sure that KNX specifications could also be, or the KNX devices could bring KNX secure devices as well. Even to the last development of KNX IoT specifications, the security part is already embedded into the specifications. So it's included in every new device of KNX IoT. So we guarantee that all devices they can have, or the new devices using the KNX specification for home and building automation, they will have KNX Secure, and the new KNX IoT devices, they will also have KNX IoT security in this case. So we do guarantee this part.
Okay, I just want to underline this because security is so important, and that's a good point. But you know, can you address again? Does it mean that older KNX solutions are not secure?
That's a good question. So before we extended the specifications with the KNX Secure, the devices or the homes and the buildings simply they didn't have the access. Long time ago, 30 years ago, they didn't have the access to internet. That was not a risk in the past. So when the building, if somebody wanted to break in, so he needed to break in the system. But then with internet, everything changed. And now with internet, we see there are homes and buildings and they are connected to internet. That's very common. And this is when we had to bring these new features to guarantee that when KNX installations is connected to internet and potential hackers could access to it, the data and the communication will be encrypted and will be secure. And for that's why we extended it. So we guarantee with this we guarantee that our systems, KNX systems, are secure. And now, because this dialogue sessions of today is about ETS, so now my colleagues or my colleague Mark and Michael, together with Torben, they will be discussing about and explaining what is a KNX secure proxy, one of the new features that with ETS 6 now we bring to the market. So thanks to this, you can combine in one installation products that they were already installed 30 years ago with products that they are KNX secure enabled. And then you can enable this and mix them into one installation so that you guarantee even more, or you update and upgrade KNX installation with KNX secure, even if you don't upgrade all of them, but you could do with the part of them, and gradually then you can extend more and more with KNX secure devices. So a new way again to guarantee KNX secure installations being more secure. But more about that will be my colleague Michael together with Torben that we talk about.
So you're not going to tell us about more new features of ETS?
Well, I will. Yeah, I can mention one more, which is also coming up today with Duarte from ATouch, KNX member developing one of the first KNX IoT devices. He's presenting this today also in the session. But if I mention to you, Bob, now all these details, then Duarte will pull my ears and, hey, guys, what are you doing? That's what I wanted to present. So I let them explaining these features.
All right. That makes perfect sense to me too. Okay, so let's then continue. Now, KNX sounds like a more comprehensive and versatile solution, but there's still some misconceptions out there, right? For example, some people think KNX is too complex. How do you address those concerns?
Yes, it's true. So when people they talk about the complexity of the system, we realize that this is one misconception, or that we find from people, and that's we are now there is a working group where we are involved at this point, which is about the customer journey. So, and with this working group, we are working on together to make sure that the perception of KNX will change from complexity to an easier system to, as some people in the group they call it, to peace of mind. But we need to understand what it means complex. Or for this, I might give you an example. For instance, so I have some friends. They start installing smart home devices in their home. It's just they started it with what they found on Amazon or other e-commerce platforms, so that they purchase different products and they start getting one control of one application, like for instance, for the lighting of the living room, the kitchen, and then they add on top of that they add access control. They bought a smart locker for their home door, and then they added few different smart home devices to their systems. What is happening is that when they reach the point of about 6 to 8 to 10, it depends. So, but on average, it's hard, and an end customer will be able to control and to integrate. It's not about control, but it's about the integration of 10 different smart devices that they cannot communicate to each other. And then at the point you are overwhelmed as a user. So you need different applications on your phone to control the different products, even that you can integrate that with maybe Alexa or any other applications you use or voice assistant that you use. So if you need to use your mobile for everything, at a point you just get tired and sick of it. So you simply prefer when you go home uh, to use your key, for instance, to access the door, or to push or the push button just to press the button. Because at the point it might be an adjustment that doesn't work or doesn't integrate as you wanted in the beginning. So people get to tend to, yeah, they tend to get tired with this. A professional coming to your home to make an integration of KNX system is a trained person on this field. So he knows what he's doing. He's spent his time in learning about home building automation. He spent his time in learning about different type of products. He knows what are the products he can install in one home, or those that they are related more for the commercial sector, for the industry, for buildings, right? He also knows how to distinguish this type of products and what is according to the needs of the user, what is for you. So I always bring the example to the homes because it's how we can relate ourselves. And if a professional comes to your home, you might think, "Oh, that's too expensive for me." But it is the same if you call a plumber. So recently, I had to change. I have a new home now, and I have to change a wall in my home, in my new home, and there was a radiator in that wall. I need to call a plumber. So I could have tried myself. I like to try everything, but it's, for me, a plumber gave me the guarantee of he knows what he's doing. He knows how to change it, how to move the radiator from one place to another. He knows how to change the trunking behind the walls. And so eventually, uh, the professionals, so I needed two, one for the wall and the other for the radiator. They had to come, and the results is very clear. So they did a professional work. They together, they talk, and they did a professional work, something that I cannot do myself. And that is the kind of professionalism that we receive as users when we call a professional. It's the same for the different domains. It's the same for uh, the radiator, for the plumbing, or for the bricks, or for smart home. So in this case, for home and building automation is the same. So they help us, and that's good for us. Does it answer your questions?
And oh yeah, certainly. I mean, I just moved home too, Casta, so I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah,
I think I'm bringing in carpenters instead of plumbers, but same deal. So,
so
you know, uh, so let's just step back a second and ask, what should installers and users consider, when they're choosing a technology, like KNX? What are the things that stand out?
what we have discussed today. So I would focus on two things on forum where I mentioned and a third thing. So there are three pillars very important um, to consider today. So I mentioned one of the things is about interworking. So to make that, bringing this to the smart home or the smart building, what is important is to get and have the guarantee that your whole system can integrate into one secure ecosystem. So, and I introduce here the second part or the second pillar, which is the secure. So make sure that when you choose a system, the system stands for security. So devices are secure. You use the security mechanisms implemented in ETS, and that you really prevent access from external hackers to the system, to the devices. So this is really important. And the third pillar, which is today something that we find we need to work still a lot. I find the new generations, like my children, for instance, my children are 8 and 10, so they're really more aware of sustainability than we, for instance, we are the my generation. And that's a good thing. And now we need to make sure that also the smart home and smart buildings of the future, they do not only have fancy applications like light control or shutter control. They are useful when shutter controls and light control. You can also bring them into energy management. So we need to make sure that we optimize the use of energy, and we need to make sure that we reduce the emissions of CO2 per building and per home, because all together we aggregate, all together we will create a more sustainable environment, more sustainable world. So these are the three pillars that we KNX professionals you can achieve, and users you can benefit from it. So that's why I really think these are the three pillars that they stand today very strong, and we are putting our main efforts to make sure that it will create a long vision or a long push for the future of our industry.
Casto, thank you very much for sharing those insights. It seems to me it's quite clear KNX is, just not one of the other options out there, but a smart investment for anyone looking to implement a reliable, secure, and future-proof automation system. So let's say thank you to Casto for joining us, and thank you to our audience for coming together. And we hope that this session has provided you with some valuable insights into what makes KNX truly unique. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you.